everyone. Welcome back to the podcast.
Hello.
The PALcast, as it were. How are you all doing? I hope you've had a wonderful week, and we're happy to be back here with episode 3 of our revamp, and I want to say episode 7?
Who cares?
Who cares? We're having fun. We're here back for another week of the PALcast for more esports, community, and developer news. I've got myself, Aaron, and with me I've got Ed and Ethan.
How you doing? Hello.
How are you guys going this week?
Pretty good, man. We've been playing lots of games. Favorite game of all time came out last week, but prettier, so I've been loving that.
Is that Kirby's Dream Land 3?
Yes.
No!
Tell us, what is your... the Colossus.
Oh, Shadow of the Colossus, of course.
I'll be gushing over that in a little bit.
Excellent, good to hear.
Yeah.
Ethan, how have you been doing? You're sounding a bit under the weather, buddy.
I'm sick.
Yay! Influenza unknown. No,
So I'm all drugged up, but I'm still here doing the podcast.
I mean, it's not that much different, but anyway.
Sure is that I'm all drugged up like you. I'm all drugged up like you.
I'm digging this energy tonight, boys. I'm loving it.
Me too.
It's going to be a goofy episode.
It's going to be a very
An
goofy
evening
episode.
podcast with some evening vibes.
Yes.
I would say so. Normally we record in midday, and I'm normally awake half an hour before we start recording. So I've at least been awake for 4 hours and had a meal.
Lovely.
But moving into the esports news, for Heroes of the Storm, we're going to start off with North American HGC. In weeks 3 and 4, we've seen a roller coaster of upsets, which has left the standings looking a bit like a dog's breakfast, but good golly, these games have been exciting. Team Freedom has risen to the top of the standings after wins over Looking for More in Team 12. However, the upset started, in fact, with Heroes Hearth Esports defeating Team 12 and then backing it up this week by defeating Simplicity. I mentioned in week 1, I think, that Heroes Hearth had been having some teething issues, and they seem to have come together and ironed out these problems. And thusly, they moved into 3rd place in the standings, knocking Team 12 down to 4th place.
Dang, Team 12.
Oh, yeah, I know. They were top of it. Now they're down to 4th, and I think it's only the top 3 teams that make it to the Western Clash. So they've got to really pull their fingers out and start thinking about what they need to do a bit better.
If you're a numerologist, you'll notice that 3 times 4 equals 12, so maybe this is good news.
Maybe it's an omen. I didn't even think of that. Similarly, we have Space Station Gaming. They defeated Team Freedom today in quite dominant fashion. It was 3-1. And this really just proves that the gap between the top and the bottom of North America is closer than one might have thought originally. This put a lot of importance onto tomorrow's games. If Team 12 can defeat Team Freedom, and Tempo Storm can defeat Looking for More, we're going to just have this rat race, and the standings, it's going to be anyone's game, and anyone can take the top at the moment. So I'm looking forward to see who will go to the Western Clash from North America.
And how are my boys LFM going? Are they yet to pick up a win?
From memory, I don't think so.
God.
They've been really just in struggle city. Like, I hope to hopeness that they can stick it through and make it through the relegation. They need a couple seasons because these guys have been grinding for years and years, and they haven't been able to have the proper opportunity in the HGC.
Do you reckon on the leaderboard we're going to see a lot more importance based on the games won counter?
Oh, very much so. We'll actually see that in the European standings this week.
Oh,
in
wow.
weeks 3, we saw Method defeat Zealots and Liquid to take a firm 3rd place in the standings. Dignitas is still continuing to hold their undefeated place as number 1 in Europe. However, we have Fnatic holding a tentative 2nd place in the standings, the gatekeeper to the Western Clash, if you will. However, their match in week 4 will see them pitted against Dignitas, and I think this will tell the tale of whom will be the European representatives at the Western Clash. If Dignitas 3-0's Fnatic, and Method 3-0's Leftovers, both of which are entirely plausible outcomes, we will have a tied 2nd place in the European standings between Method and Fnatic, just down to the map score. It's quite fascinating, really. However, reflecting upon a few weeks ago, I said Liquid had a history of starting strong and unfortunately having a waning momentum as the season draws out, and we are seeing them in 4th place, suffering from some of these symptoms I've expressed in the previous weeks. If we look at a global meta snapshot...
Symptoms.
Sorry?
Delicious symptoms.
Oh, delicious symptoms, just like yours. Looking at the global meta snapshot updates for this week, Lucio has increased his win rate by 6%, and Stukov has a 3% win rate increase.
Yes!
Yes!
Hey, Lucio!
My boy Lucio and Stukov, they're my 2 favourite supports. They're just a lot of fun. I love them. And for our tanks, we see the win rates pretty much as they were. However, Tyrael and Arthas have each dropped by a few percent. Nothing major to think of, really. In Assassins, we've seen Jaina dropped a staggering 12% this week.
People have caught on then, huh?
People have caught on, but I think she still has a win rate of 58%. I think it's just she's got a bigger sample size, and it's kind of just stabilizing in those. She had 75%. That was never.
Is she catching more bans now that she's high up in the meta?
Hard to say. Yes and no for specific people who have renowned Jaina players. However, we're still seeing a lot of Genji ban, we're still seeing a lot of Hanzo ban, a lot of Medivhs if they've got a Medivh player, but she is copying a few more bans here and there. Apart from that, the other assassins are pretty similar, but we have Junkrat and Blaze, who have both featured as quite high participations, both of them at like a 48 to 52% involvement rate, which is good, and decent win rates too. Now we're going to move into something a little bit different. Instead of moving into Overwatch League news, I'll be continuing with Heroes of the Storm news. However, instead of esports, we will focus on the release of their new hero, Maive, a super mobile melee assassin from the Warcraft universe. She was actually the warden who, you know how Illidan goes, I feel the hatred of 10,000 years. She was the motherfucker who guarded Illidan for 10,000 years. She had to deal with his incessant babbling. It's, Tyrande chose Malfurion instead of me. Oh, woe is me. Anyways, moving on to her as a hero. She's a hyper-mobile melee assassin, and she focuses on crowd control and AoE damage. Her Q ability is called Fan of Knives, a rogue ability from World of Warcraft you may know. It's a medium-range skill shot, which has a lower cooldown when you hit more than one person, so it's emphasizing her AoE damage. Her W ability is called Umbral Bind. When activated, her next auto attack is turned into a cleave, and if enemy heroes are hit by that cleave, they are bound to her. If they move too far away from her, you've got a little circle indicator. If they move too far from her when they're bound, they're pulled back towards her, which can set up some great CC. Her final basic ability is called Spirit of Vengeance, a mobility spell that allows her to engage, disengage, and confuse her enemies. It's really cool because you cast it out, and then it kind of follows back on that same line. However, you can toggle it anywhere on that, so you can throw it out, run in a different direction, and then as it's coming back, you can teleport back to that place. So it's kind of like Sylvanas' E, but a little bit different, but my god, it's so much fun to play.
It sounds like it allows for a lot more confusion as well.
Very much so, yeah. That's how I've been using it mostly. It's like, oh no, I'm running away. Just kidding, I'm back on you. Come, get over here. And you pull them back. It's great. Her passive ability is called Vault of the Wardens. Just a tidbit, there's a instance in the Legion expansion that we're in at the moment called Vault of the Wardens. So it's a nice little throw out to her.
I see what you did there.
Yes. And what this does is she does a little backflip, and during that backflip, she is completely invincible to any enemy ability for 0.75 seconds. So you can be like diving a tower, and when you need to get out in those last 2 tower shots that would kill a lesser assassin, she can do that backflip and make herself invincible. If you're getting feared by Gul'dan, Ring of Frost by Jaina, just hit that D. Just rely on the D and everything will be alright.
So kids, have fun, make mistakes, and do backflips to avoid them.
Exactly,
Avoid the
pretty
consequences.
much. Backflips are the source of all your problems and answers to them.
If only that were true in real life, and if only I could do backflips in that case.
I can kind of roll.
I don't know if a clumsy commando roll would be good enough to escape, like Lords of Terror summoning the wrath of the hells below them to stun you. But I'd like to see it happen.
I don't know. Have you seen that cosplayer who dresses up as the Knight of the Sun from Dark Souls and rolls around the cosplay thing, absolutely destroying people in combat?
You're not wrong. In Dark Souls, I've actually won a lot of battles just by rolling. You actually bring up a really good point. Overall, going to heroic abilities. The first is called Disc of Containment. It's a straight line skill shot. If you hit an enemy with it and then reactivate it, it time stops them for a few seconds. This allows you to reposition around them, confirm a kill, or if Maeve's getting chased, you can throw it out onto your CC tank, and then that stops them. It's pretty cool, and it resembles the cage that Illidan was in for 10,000 years. It's really, really cool.
Cute.
Her second heroic is called Warden's Cage, which after being activated summons a ring of wardens that can disrupt enemies and allow for some insane plays. Overall, she's a very powerful and fun hero, whose ability to juke and jive garners her the upper hand in most encounters. Now here's a clip of a good friend of mine, Gokuburi, as he gets a pentakiller's Maive. You can see the power of her kit coming together. The umbral bind and the warden's cage, keeping the enemies clumped, allowing him to get multiple resets of her fan of knives, and using the vault of the wardens to dodge abilities that would kill many other assassins. To see more of his awesome plays, you can find him on twitch.tv/Gokuburi or on Twitter with the handle Gokuburi Gaming. And that pretty much wraps up the esports news for this week. But I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.
And welcome back.
Hi.
We're moving on to release and development news.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about briefly, well, not briefly, in depth, because it's the most amazing thing that's happened to my life. Shadow of the Colossus remake for PS4. I've been getting way into that this last week.
Yes.
It's so good.
Everything you wanted and more?
It's everything I wanted and more, and
Excellent.
like plus some, which we'll get onto in a little bit when we discuss the community news, because there's a little Easter eggy tidbit there that's really been bringing the community together on this one.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
But no, it's great. When the main theme played, like in the first fight, I was like almost in tears just because of the nostalgic joy it brought back for me.
Yes, dude. Yes. I love... If a game can bring me to tears, I've got no shame. I'm going to let that motherfucking... I'm going to weep to
Yeah, I know how you feel. I cried so much hearing Breath of the Wild.
Oh, dude. That opening scene when you first look over the
Stop.
plateau, I just wept
I'm
like
already,
a baby.
I'm already welling up.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing, my friend. It's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful
Cool.
thing.
Now we're going to move on to what's coming out in the next week. Speaking of nostalgia, we've got the Secret of Mana remake coming out on PS4 next week.
Is this the Super Nintendo Secret of Mana?
It certainly is.
Oh, boy.
I still have that on cartridge.
You do,
On
that's
Super
right.
Nintendo.
There you go. So would you say you're a fan of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's fucking sick. Like, the game, when it was released on Super Nintendo at the time, was friggin' astounding. The scope of what you could do in it, especially in an RPG setting. So, yeah, I'm stoked to see that come out again.
So-
It's very much of that time, like the chrono triggers and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
exactly.
Where it's like pushing the Super Nintendo to its absolute fucking limits.
Absolutely,
And you've just got so much depth and scope in these seemingly so simple games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this one's got the same sort of top-down, like fun exploring, fighting, swinging around kind of deal. It's being made in HD, so it's all 3D.
Cool.
3D rendered graphics and stuff,
Fantastic.
including 3D cutscenes, which I think bring a lot more to the story. So
Hell
your
yeah.
usual like in-engine text, like cutscenes are now in a nice like 3D shot environment.
Voice
And,
acted or biddly?
I think still text only, not biddly.
Okay, cool.
No biddly diddly. It's still.
Okay, cool.
I want the biddlies.
Yeah.
So
And
like
the diddlies.
I was wondering in this golden age, of remakes.
Yes.
In which I, as a PlayStation boy, have just been coming buckets for the last year with Crash Bandicoot,
Yeah.
with the Jack series,
Yeah.
with Shadow of the Colossus.
You've had a good year.
I've had a sick year, my
good
friend.
year with some hefty loads.
As a late like Gen Y gamer, I've
Yeah.
had a sick year of PlayStation reboots.
Awesome.
What would you guys like remade?
I'm going to need a moment to think on this.
Honestly, I'd love to see gritty as fuck, balls to the walls Moonlander remake. You know that game where you're essentially that 2D sprite just jumping along the thing, going like finding oxygen and
Yeah.
fuel and shit. Something like that, except like
Survival horror?
yeah, or just make
Yeah.
the horror in and of itself just because you're so isolated. It's
Of
just
course.
you on a fucking moon
Yeah.
and you're running out of oxygen. That'd be terrifying.
Well, on the same sort of token for gritty remakes, I've thought about this many times before. I've always wanted a really gritty Banjo-Kazooie remake.
Where he's like actually a bear.
Where he's
and mauls
actually like a
people?
bear. Yeah, exactly. And he's just got this
Oh my
backpack with
God.
like just disturbing like Kazooie. Oh, I
have
can
to
be
be a vulture,
amazing.
like
yeah,
Ichabod.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like a really dark and gritty Banjo-Kazooie, and like
Or would they go down the route of like Conker's Bad Fur Day crossed with Banjo-Kazooie, where he's just foul and obscene?
I think that would be part
Oh,
of
boy.
it.
Could you imagine a hungover Banjo?
Yes,
And he's
exactly.
just like,
exactly.
Fuck, what
I
a
would,
night.
I would love that. I would
Speaking
love
of
that.
things that should be remade, Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh, if
Well,
only.
they did, didn't they? They remade the original 64 one for the
Xbox?
original Xbox or
Yeah.
Xbox 360 even.
Do it again, but
Rest in
better.
peace, Rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're still a company. They just work for Microsoft now rather than Nintendo.
Dude,
So You do you, Rare, but fuck, if you made a Switch port of Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo-Tooie, I would lose my mind as well.
Oh, dude,
Yep.
absolutely. Anything Rare, essentially. You could remake fucking Glover. Was that Rare?
Yeah, I think it was.
I would love a Glover
Glover.
remake. People
Glover,
live
oh my
Glover
God,
so much fucking
yes.
shit. You've given me shit for liking Glover before.
Glover's amazing.
Fuck
man.
you, Ed. Jack and Daxter is trash.
Oh.
Julius of the Roses is a shit game.
Come off in the PALcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the bout of the century.
You're entitled to your opinion, and I accept your opinion. And that's all that will be said on the matter.
Okay.
Speaking of games that are currently making me furious that you hate, there's still one. There's still one PlayStation game that hasn't, like, absolute classic that hasn't been redone.
Oh.
Give me Spyro.
Spyro.
Give me Spyro so
that's
hard.
destined to happen, I feel.
Kick Skylanders off into the universe
Yeah.
and give me, like, some
That will
good
never happen
classic
because they make
Spyro.
too much money.
Oh, and
Off
we
of
will be
Skylanders.
talking about that in a little bit.
Oh, my young nephews are Skylanders fiends. They got shelves and shelves of that stuff.
I would be too. If I was a kid at the time when Skylanders came out, I'd be
Oh, yeah.
like, well, I need all of them. I'm sorry. Like, this is how life is now.
It was almost like that with the Amiibos.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
for me, realistically. I bought way too many Amiibos.
So, if you're into The Secret of Mana and you're wanting to play this remake, that'll come out on February the 13th for you.
Story, incredibly long, yeah. Oh, the day before Valentine's Day. Excellent.
Ah, perfect.
Well, actually,
I'll be free.
I don't know if it's Secret of Mana, but another game that people around... I think it may be Secret of Mana, maybe just gotten delayed by a couple weeks or a month.
Not Secret of Mana.
Not Secret of Mana, but another game that was supposed to come out. It's kind of Secret of Mana-esque. It's got a Japanese title, Oni Kona or something like that.
Can't help you on that one, man.
Yeah, well, that got pushed back, and a few friends of mine are quite disappointed.
Oh.
Also out on the 13th is Dynasty Warriors 9.
Yep.
If you
Wait,
look-
they're only at 9? I swear they're at like 15 now.
There's like a million like in the middle of numbers games.
Okay,
in
that'd
that,
be
in that
it,
franchise. It's Dynasty Warriors, but the world's bigger.
Yep.
If you're gonna play it, you're gonna buy it anyway. I think it's a pretty niche thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the one to convince you to buy that game.
No, I can't. Like, I've played... The closest thing I've played to Dynasty Warriors is Hyrule Warriors, straight up. Like,
Yeah.
which I loved, and if they made another one of them, I'd probably play it.
Speaking of fans of games where you press the same button over and over and over again, Bayonetta 1 and 2 get their Switch ports next week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
instead of-
Bayonetta is too fucking hot, I'm sorry.
Well, now instead of getting repetitive strain injury by playing one-handed, you can get repetitive strain injury in two hands by doing one with motion controls.
Hooray.
And the other one where it was before.
Whee! I think you described this style of game to me once as press X to win, Ethan.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
QTEs and press X to win.
Yeah.
Much like Rise, Son of Rome on the Xbox
Which
One.
disappointed me. That had so much promise. I remember being so hyped for
Me
that.
too, and then I saw it and I cried.
Yeah, not happy cried like we do with Shadow of the Colossus and Breath
No,
of
it
the
was
Wild.
ugly. It could have been
It
better.
was, it was sad cry, like when you're playing Secret of Mana on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Yeah. You nearly made Ethan snuff, dude.
I saw the light.
Moving on, we've got Red Dead Redemption 2, possibly the most anticipated game of 2018 by
Oh, dude,
the
I'd say this decade. Really?
of this decade.
Oh,
Yeah,
at least the last 5 years so far. Yeah.
it's up there for me for
Yeah.
sure. Getting delayed on that. By a couple of months. It's the second delay the game's faced.
Yep. And what reason is it for?
It's just polish reasons. They're
I'm
just,
happy with that,
they're
dude.
just getting the thing
Not
tight.
bad then.
Yeah.
They want to get it
Yeah.
to where they want to have it, which is always a good reason to delay
Yeah.
a game.
When is
Yeah.
it getting delayed till?
Yeah.
That new release date is set at October 26th at the minute.
Honestly, that's in my mind for a game that's better. It's more polished and it's coming out in the Christmas season.
Yeah,
Its sales
absolutely.
are going to be ridiculous,
Absolutely.
dude.
Possibly also a small reason for the shift, I'd
yes.
say.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
probably. Yeah.
We've also got Metroid Prime 4, which I know a lot of people are excited for. Big Samus fan.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I
Call me
personally
up
have
into that ball, daddy.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
So aptly, that game has got a developer announced in the previous week. It's going to be made by Bandai Namco Singapore,
Oh,
Singapore. Okay.
which is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
People are a little bit worried because it's not like Bandai Namco main.
Yes.
But it's a good company. They've never done me wrong.
Yeah, they've got enough money that having a global office do it. It's just like Rockstar North doing stuff, or
absolutely.
Like 2K Marlin or something. Like
exactly.
That,
Like they've got a big enough sway.
Even Ubi Oz.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You've got enough money that it's not going to get done worse. And I think there was a Metroid game that came out on the DS this year, and it was really good, and people are happy with it.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah,
I can't remember for the life of me anything else.
No, I remember it being talked about. I'm honestly not a big Metroid fan, if I'm being real with you, but I'm all for those sort of IPs getting more games. So yeah, fuck yeah, looking forward to it.
More Metroidvania, always good.
Yes,
be it
exactly.
Be it mainstream or indie.
Exactly,
Yeah, absolutely.
exactly.
I say absolutely a lot. I just realized. I'm sorry. I'm gonna look for more agreeing words.
It's a nice trait.
It's mine.
It's a nice trait to be agreeable.
TM.
Mine's exactly. Or you goddamn right.
I'm a sure guy. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I picked that up from you motherfucker.
Staying on Nintendo goodies.
Yes.
Some good news for Switch owners that aren't in our country. They'll be able to pay for their games with gold points, which, if you're not sure exactly what they are, it's kind of like a loyalty system.
Okay.
So when you buy a game on the Nintendo Store or whatever it may be called, you get a percentage of your purchase back in these gold points, right?
Or if you buy it in the hardcover, usually there's some sort of slip.
Are you like the Nintendo Club ones that were in the DS ones?
It's a follow-on from that, so they kind of cancelled that program and started with this new
I see.
silver and gold coins, I think it is, yeah.
So that's very exciting for people in the US, Europe,
Asia,
Japan, and the rest of Asia.
Yep.
And that's all.
it.
So,
hey, Australians, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, good news for everyone
at
but
this
us.
point, I'm so fucking used to getting shafted by game companies. It's like, cool, whatever. I'll just, when I'm overseas, buy some shit, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Like,
and realistically, with those sort of loyalty programs, I forget so soon afterwards that I've joined them that it doesn't matter anyway. Like, I won't use it to its fullest. Arguably, if I had the fucking chance, maybe I would, but thanks, Nintendo. Never mind.
Well, the Ubi store on PC has had a very similar kind of arrangement for a long time as well, in which you can get points for certain achievements or for buying games, and you can put those points towards discounts on future purchases from the Ubi store on PC. Yep. So I think,
like that system.
I think it's great. I think rewarding brand loyalty is always a good thing in gaming, especially because a lot of gamers are pretty
fanboyish,
pretty strong onto which companies they like, and
of course
they stick by them. Stick by your man.
So going along with the Ubi store as well, I think there's something similar. Like there is an Ubi store on Xbox where you get achievements, or you even with figures that you buy, you can put a certain thing from the game packet or the figure packaging, and you get Ubi points that you can get costumes and shit with. So
yeah, good move. I think it's a great way to do it.
Oh, absolutely,
absolutely. I'm all for getting more shit for buying games.
Yeah.
So
just give us a chance.
With this being announced, right, and Switch Online coming, can we just talk for a second about how much the Nintendo Switch is fucking killing it right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's what they imagined for the Wii and the Wii U, but never really got there. The technology wasn't quite there, or we weren't ready for it. Well,
let me just briefly lay down some heavy figures for you, right?
Okay.
All right. Yep.
The Switch has all-time outsold the Wii U in less than a year.
Fuck! What?
Whoa.
That's bonkers, dude.
Yeah,
that's pretty nuts.
Because the Wii was their best-selling console of all time.
The Wii U.
Okay.
Wii U. Also,
everybody got a Wii.
the Nintendo released their third quarterly financial figures recently for last year.
Yep.
They recorded a 230% increase in the third quarter.
Holy shit.
And that was after the release of the console itself in the first quarter, where they recorded a 520% increase.
Wow. Wow.
You'd love to be a Nintendo CEO right about now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Furthermore, as it currently stands, there are now triple the games than the Wii U had released at this time.
Wow.
Yeah, cool. It sounds like they're actually listening to what the consumers wanted, which was games to play on the console they love.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, I was kind of worried about that with the Switch, to be honest, because it seemed like it was going down the Wii U path where they were like, oh shit, here's the console, and we got like one game, Breath of the Wild, for it.
Well,
Wait for the next one.
I would very much agree that the Wii U had that. It seems that Nintendo's kind of laxed their restrictions on the games that they let people get made or get brought to the consoles. With the Wii U and stuff like that, they went very secular, and it was only their IPs or related IPs and stuff like that. Now it's just like Binding of Isaac, Shovel Knight, like Splatoon. They're just like, it reminds me of like the 90s, 80s Nintendo, where they were just like, I nearly punched a lamp over, sorry. They're just bringing so many more games in, and I love that. I love that Nintendo is being a bit less...
It's either Mario or Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Speaking
of the Tropic Freeze, I think it was the Donkey Kong game that came on the Wii U or the Wii.
Yes.
It's coming out on the Switch as well, which is very exciting.
That was good. I enjoyed that game.
I really love that game.
It was hard.
It was hard.
I played that on a workmate's Wii while I was house sitting for them once.
Really?
It was what I did for that week. It was great. It was amazing. Very fun. They're killing it, and I think the handheld thing is clearly a big element to all of this, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and they're coming out with all of these cult classics that people have loved playing on their, like, on their indie markets and their Steam, like, PCs. And they're doing it, like, making it so you can play that stuff on the train, right?
Yeah.
So you can play Binding of Isaac on the move, or you can play, you know, Stardew Valley on the move. And
yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but Portal Knights by 505 Games has come out recently on the Switch as well, which is... we've played it a little bit, and we may put some on the show in a little bit
channel,
later.
yeah.
But yeah, that's come out, and it's 2-player, split screen, one console for Portal Knight 2 on the Switch, which is fucking great.
Exciting.
Because I love 2-player games on a single console. It really gets.
There's not enough of them these days.
No, there isn't. There isn't.
And finally, I just recently read about a big PlayStation 4 leak.
Oh.
It seems as though there might be a skinned console for the release of God of War.
Ooh.
So
there's going to be a lot of people.
Fans of God of War, which I know there are
just
shit tons of,
Yeah.
will be very excited for this news. I'm not a huge fan, so I'm indifferent to it, but I know that's big news for some, so I thought I'd slip that in there at the end.
I'll be very excited to buy a pre-owned God of War themed PlayStation 4 in about a year and a half's time.
Oh, yeah. But that just about wraps it up. You guys got anything to add for release and dev stuff?
No, that's about it for me.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything. But I can't think of anything right now because my brain is...
I want cold and flu tablet.
Give me that pseudo
Beautiful. I'll swing it over to my boy Isan for some community news.
Hi, welcome back.
Hello.
So you've got Ethan now for a bit of community news. We'll start off as we always do with a bit of scandals and stuff. Not so much scandals this week.
Did you guys like
I fucking love Scandalous. That killed me.
That's becoming a regular. Yes. That's becoming a super regular edit.
Alright, so it's not so much a scandal, but Twitch has recently introduced new community guidelines to try and tackle the growing toxicity problem.
I love these.
Toxicity.
Yes.
No! Sorry, go on.
So they're including taking into account off-platform behavior when issuing indefinite bans. So they posted on the Twitch's community blog board, said that if a streamer uses other mediums to send targeted harassment or hate towards another streamer, it will consider those actions a violation of Twitch's policies, even though the activity didn't happen directly onto platform.
Good.
Now, there is the argument that it's kind of like getting in trouble from your school principal for something that you didn't do at school or something like that. But I think just to make the gaming community especially a less volatile place can't be a bad thing.
Well, let's rephrase it. Twitch is a job, right? So it's more getting in trouble for your boss for getting caught doing like the wrong thing and bringing the whole brand down.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, just to touch on this, it was something that happened on Twitch, and I fucking hate to talk about this, but it needs to be mentioned. I'm just going to preface this with, if you've got mental health issues and you feel like you're struggling, do not ever feel afraid to talk to someone. Sorry to get a bit solemn on this, but there was this fucking scum lord by the name of Scubby or Jay Scubby or something like that. Absolute trash tier person. Not going to even validate him by putting up the clip, but basically he was saying anyone who's got mental health illnesses need to just get over it. He was saying verbatim, it was like, my girlfriend used to complain to me about her anxiety all the times, and now she just doesn't talk about it. It's like, well, maybe did you fucking abuse her to the point where she doesn't feel comfortable to talk about it? And the fucking worst thing he said to someone was, if someone came to me and said they were going to kill themselves, he would dare them to do it. And he said this live on broadcast. This cunt needs to fucking burn. I'm sorry, go on. But, like, that's an example of where Twitch should just put a nail in that coffin. End his career. So what? You need to learn from it. Sorry, go on.
No, and that's fair enough. Like, I mean, if it's an indefinite ban from Twitch, and we'll see how that goes in regards to people making new channels, I guess, or whatever else, but they'd certainly need to rebuild their followers and everything like that. So, yeah, absolutely. Bravo.
In some follow-up news from that, read today that everyone's favourite YouTuber, Logan Paul, absolutely copped the ban hammer today.
Yes.
I read no that too. Advertising for this scumbag.
Yep.
You'll make no money.
Yep.
Fuck you, Logan Paul.
And you know what they also brought out today? YouTube brought out saying that repeated offences will mean that you can't get on recommended or trending videos.
He's not getting on front page ever again.
Nope. Ever again, he isn't?
Ever again.
Nope. Good. That piece of shit needs to burn. I'm sorry. I'm all for people having a bit of fun, but he's just like, no.
At the expense of other people, it's not.
No.
Not on.
Make it at your own expense. Sure, that's fine. But no. Go on, Ethan. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Moving on from Twitch, which I think we can all agree is a good move on their behalf. So we've got some more, I guess, pop culture news. Nightwing's still using his sexuality to make comics more progressive. So his funnily enough named character Dick Grayson.
More like Dick Gayson. That's a terrible joke. I'm sorry.
It is. Can we like get those blah blah blah? Those. But essentially, in the latest Nightwing, writer Sam Humphries and illustrators Bernard Chang and Marcelo Maiolo kept up the now-established tradition of framing Grayson as something of a sex icon by sending him rather deep undercover. There's a few spoilers as well in this, so I won't get into too much particular details. But essentially, Nightwing has to go into a fortified casino where he's orchestrating, where the judge, is orchestrating Nightwing's assassination. The best bet to get inside is to tag along with a friend from CrossFit who happens to do a bit of exotic dancing. So he uses his own guile and charm to go dance his way into enemy territory. And essentially, it's just a celebration of the male form and sexuality in and of that. And it's like, enjoying sex is not a bad thing.
More like blood Gavin.
Oh, damn.
I'm sorry.
Look, that's
I'm so
fine.
sorry.
That's fine. At least I'm not the trash person anymore. So.
We're still all trash, let's be real.
So, essentially, depicting the male body in comics as something to be admired and desired rather than just aspired to from afar is an important sex-positive message to champion and an acknowledgement that some of the people who read comics just so happen to be attracted to guys as well, gender notwithstanding. So, good on you guys. Good on you, Marvel, for those. Yes, polite golf claps, ladies and gentlemen.
Golf claps for Marvel.
Bravo, Nightwing. Moving on from that.
Nightwing moving up to the 14th hole. 2 putts for birdie.
What a fine ass he's got.
Nightwing removing his tearaway pants.
I love those assless chaps. They're my favourite of his attire. Now, moving on from basic pop culture, moving back to gaming. Fortnite Battle Royale is continuing to crush it on the multiplayer scene. Last weekend, the cartoonish Battle Royale game Fortnite hit 3.4 million concurrent users across all platforms before the game crashed. That's fucking nuts. That's insane. 3.4 million people playing it at once.
Is that across all platforms?
Across all platforms, yes.
Cool.
But even still, before that, Chance the Rapper was begging Epic Games for a Switch port, And this week
Oh.
alone, we've gotten...
I like Chance a lot more now.
Yeah, right. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck yes, Chance the Rapper is what I was trying to say. Gotta
Also,
love that
fuck you for
pseudo.
being a great rapper and having a great voice.
Yeah, give me some of that career that I so desperately don't deserve. So yeah, Chance the Rapper, was begging Epic Games for a Switch port, which, fuck yeah, that'd be incredible. And this week alone, we've got 2 hefty updates from the development team detailing new tweaks, item weapon additions, and upcoming changes. Fortnite is just killing it. So bravo to Fortnite. And considering it's still a free-to-play and free-to-download game, PUBG, you're gonna have to pick up your game if you want to come back into the top spot.
I'm going to take this moment in the podcast to splice in a clip of an amazing Fortnite play I saw during the week, set up in the University of Washington's designated Fortnite room, in which the player had built a stairway to heaven, which is essentially, you know, a tower to the top of the screen.
And had the shotgun.
And has the shotgun.
Yes,
He's taking pot shots at his last remaining opponent on the ground.
Yeah.
And says, "Let's get him."
Yeah.
Whips out the shotgun, jumps from the top, like the ceiling of the map down to the ground, and like one shots this guy on the way past. It's
That's
and
beautiful.
the reaction from that room is the definition of hype.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
There's like 20 people in this room just going fucking nuts.
That's what I love
awesome.
as well about a lot of the Fortnite community. It's such a cool spectator sport as well. Not even just for like streamers and potentially even competitive gameplay as well. But for, like you said, it's a specific dorm room just for playing Fortnite that you'll see it in the clip probably about now. There's 20, 30 odd people in there absolutely going nuts after this win. Like,
so
I've seen a
cool.
few videos like that as well. So yeah, really good to see.
I'm really appreciating just in general how like collegiate and like, groups are really embracing esports. Like you've got your Heroes of the Dorm, you've got all these college. It's great. They win college scholarships if they win it. So and in America that's fucking expensive.
Video game high school has come to life.
Yeah,
Yes.
actually, yeah.
Excellent.
So yeah, please go on.
Excellent, cool. No, yeah. So yeah, props to Fortnite. I'm not. It was Epic Games who made.
I do believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Chance the Rapper, he was begging him for.
Well, that's probably why they haven't got a Switch port. If it wasn't Epic Games, he's probably just asking the wrong people.
This just in. Chance the Rapper was very confused.
He's not a gay fish, don't
No.
worry.
If you're listening to this, Chance, I'm sorry we've taken a lot of pot shots at you. Literally nothing against you. It's just.
It's honestly out of envy. I've got a lot of respect for you
Yeah.
as a performer, and
Yeah.
I'm all for more rappers endorsing Twitch as a platform.
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
reckon that could be badass. You've got Deadmau5 who already mixes and produces beats
Yep.
in his studio on Twitch, and then we'll just go play Rocket League. It's pretty cool. I'm all for the
There's a whole range of communities embracing Twitch right now. You've got Impact Wrestling, put their shows up on Twitch
Yep.
now.
Yes,
There's like a lathe channel.
You've got-
We've talked about lathes before. On
Oh
the
yeah,
PALcast.
baby oh baby.
Oh, speaking of, I'm so into Adam Savage Tested. Oh,
Yes.
that is the best
Yep.
channel in the fucking world. Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking to Ed.
Oh, yeah, I was.
Oh. I was just gonna say also like Mexican company AAA have their like big shows on Twitch as well now.
Are they a
Yes,
wrestling company as well?
Yeah, like
fuck yeah.
a lucha company.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great to watch.
Just a quick sidebar. It's Dr. Disrespect came back from his hiatus. Did we talk about that last week?
I think it was a couple of weeks ago, but yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
he's come back.
Yep, he's come
Hey.
back. And he had 300,000 viewers on his comeback stream. He reported 15,000 subscribers. So from that month alone, he made $45,000 from subscriptions and not to mention donations. However, Tyler One's return to League of Legends stream
Yes.
garnered him
Yeah, I heard
more.
about
I
that
think
one.
it was more
I think we
concurrent
chatted about
viewers.
that
We
the
did
other week
chat about
last
it
week as
briefly.
well.
Yeah, but it came close to beating that, and the only person before that who had more was Faker, who was the best at League of Legends who's ever existed. So it's cool to see, like, just breaking that 50,000, 100,000 mark. It's like, boom, no, it's 300,000.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It really excites me for the future of esports and this electronic medium that we're a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of electronic medium, we talked a little bit earlier about the Shadow of the Colossus remake. Ed, you've been playing that for last week, you said, yeah?
Yes, I have. Oh my
Have you been doing anything else this week?
I've been playing Shadow in the periods in which I get really frustrated playing fighters.
Yeah, that's fair. That sounds about right. Well, you might have noticed a few coins floating around, a few mystery coins.
I did, dude. Like, this is the only new thing that's in the game as opposed to the old version in this
That
new
is
remake.
correct. Yes.
And it's like you're walking around and they make this like charm noise and play a song when they're nearby, so you can like. I was like, what the fuck is this? This isn't. What are you? I don't remember. I stumbled into a cave I didn't know existed.
Excellent.
Somewhere,
Excellent.
like, in the middle of nowhere, not like on the road to Colossus or anything. I stumbled in a cave in a forest and like, oh, what's that sound?
Excellent. Well, there's a few spoilers. I don't want to get into it for you because I want you to have a solid crack at finding him. I'll let you know there are 79.
It's my job to spoil that for me at this point, right? We're making a new show here.
Well, no. I won't get into it because if there's a few fans of Shadow Colossus out there, I don't want to fully spoil everything. But there's 79 very well hidden coins.
Make that in 10 less. Come on. 69 coins would have been amazing. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. There's a prominent trophy hunter, but who goes by the handle PS4 Trophies, who recently found all the coins with help from the wider community, as well as hints from Nomad Colossus, a YouTuber known for the Shadow of the Colossus videos. It gets pretty in depth with the amount of problem solving you have to do to finish off this puzzle. And there's been arguments whether or not the in-game reward is worth it at the end of it. But fuck yeah,
it's the journey, not the destination. I think
exactly.
on this one.
Cool. Yeah. Because not once again, not getting into it too much. PS4 Trophies had a much more positive takeaway from the whole thing. He said, "For me, the reward was the experience of the entire process. I give credit of this discovery to all of the community as well. The physical in-game reward wasn't what some people hoped for. They wanted a new Colossus or an alternate ending." I'll leave it there because there's a fair few more spoilers.
It's a beautiful thing because this thing happened. No one was told about it.
Yeah.
People found the coins. They had no idea how many there were
Exactly,
or where
yeah.
they were. So it had to be like a group effort to find out where these things were and whether there was anything at the end of it.
Hexadecimal? Like,
So a hexadecimal code is like for certain colors, it's generally 3 numbers and 3 letters in a certain number.
Oh,
so
shit.
000FFF or something will give you black.
oh.
And that's the hexadecimal code for black is 000FFF.
Oh, shit.
Let me
So-
save you the trouble. F4.
What?
I'm not going to say no, but moving on. Now, I believe I forgot to mention last week, a few weeks ago, we mentioned there was a huge EVE Online battle
Yes.
between the N3 Corporation, which was the remnants of the Money Badger, and
Fucking Goon Squad!
Goon Squad, Goon Swarm Federation, versus the Pandemic. N3, which is Pandemic Horde and the Money Badger Coalition. Apparently, the server crashed with around 6,000 people all in the same server. No, really? And the space station was saved. However, nearly $1 million worth of damage had been done. That's real world money. And that was just the first, apparently, in what's going to be a series of many conflicts in this overall war. And apparently this battle isn't even over. It's just, at the moment, the space station is safe while new maneuvers and new tactics are being put into play.
Is this a case of like one team won the battle, but the other might win the war?
Oh,
of thing?
yeah.
Oh, fuck
Oh,
yeah. I might
yeah.
have to dabble back into some Eve. And,
Absolutely.
and
At the
enjoy
very
this.
least, I'm going to keep my ear somewhat to the ground for this. Hopefully it won't fizzle out into nothing, but you never know. But either way, nearly $1 million in real-world money of space damage on EVE Online. That's fucking impressive, in my opinion. So bravo.
It's more money than I'll ever have in my life.
Yep, me too. And finally, to wrap up community news for this week, a little bit of a weird story to wrap up this one. A Street Fighter player recently was forced to commentate his own match. So on the 8th of February's Next Level Battle Circuit, the mic was somehow unoccupied right before Arturo Sabin Sanchez's match against a player who goes by Sonic Soul. Apparently, all the other commentators had seemingly vacated the stream at the same time. So Sanchez, rather than playing in silence, decided to call his own match. There's a Kotaku article which shows you kind of the different rounds between the two. The first one's a bit more reactionary and everything like that. But the second round, he kind of hits his flow and starts getting into the whole, mixing shit, talking perfectly with calling the match really well.
Yeah.
And not only did he end up calling a really entertaining match and doing a great job of that in and of itself, he won the match 2-0.
I can imagine him doing something. I haven't seen the clip, but it's like, and now I'm about to wreck this fucking scrub. Just like...
pretty much. There's... second game, Sanchez found his stride. He expertly blended shit talk and analysis, complimenting Sonic Soul's movement as he slammed his head into the training room floor. Perfect spacing by me, Sanchez says as he keeps Nash at arm's length with fireballs and jabs. Oh my god. So, yeah, good on you, Sanchez. Good on you, Sabin, and good on you, Sonic Soul, for being a part of that as well.
Good on you, Sanchez, for probably being a part of it as well.
Being
Yeah.
a good sport, I assume.
Yeah, that was a clean Sanchez. We won't delve into what a dirty Sanchez is. I'll let you figure that one out yourself. But that's it from the PALcast for this week. I think I need to go and get some more drugs. So,
and then take some cold and flu.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us once again. And we will see you a little bit later on. Oh, not next week, sorry. The week after the PALcast.
We're having a bit of a...
Well, I mean, we'll still come out on the usual Monday, but the following week will be out on Wednesday.
Yes.
We're just going to fiddle around a bit so we can catch a bit more of that esports sweet spot and give you the news as it comes in.
That good.
Oh, yeah.
And more anger management to come.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
hopefully, if we're lucky, we can start working towards getting some other stuff out.
Definitely.
As amongst the plan as well. But I've had a good time tonight. You guys
Yeah.
had fun?
So have I.
I've always have a great time.
Absolutely.
With
It's been a wild ride, but I've loved it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will catch you soon. Thanks for joining us
Catch you on the flippy flop.
you guys. Bye.
on the flippiest of flappies. Some stay dry.
Some stay dry and others
Oh,
feel
record.
Chocolate rain.
I move away from the mic to breathe in.
I move away from the mic to breathe in. That took a Titanic turn.
Sound profile is immense. Oh my god.